Hi, good afternoon, everyone. It's been a long day, but thank you for staying and joining us here today. My name is Jia Min, and I'm from Singapore. Today, I am going to share with you some insights on changing e-commerce trends and how it has led to the growth of cyber fraud, in particular, how it impacts your online business, and if you are looking to scale for success, what you can do. So, 73% of millennials by now are engaged in mobile online shopping. And it means to say that as online retail continues to be a booming business, there is a lot of prospect for e-commerce merchants. However, what a lot of people do not seem to realize is that cyber fraud is also increasing in the world today. We will take a look at some statistics later, and because of this, the growth of cyber fraud, it has led to a lot of apprehension in consumers wanting to make online purchases readily. In that case, this is where NS8 has come in, because NS8 sets out to empower businesses with solutions to overcome the evolving and growing online fraud threats. So let us first take a bit of understanding towards the changing market for e-commerce trend in APAC. Let's look at some statistics today. More than 70% of people in APAC by now are buying online. B2C e-commerce sales have increased from 1.6 trillion to an estimated of 3.5 trillion. It's estimated to continue growing in the next 2 to 3 years. And you would be surprised to know that in 2018 alone, APAC constitutes to the largest e-commerce sales globally, contributing to more than 50% of global e-commerce sales worldwide. So, as I mentioned, as e-commerce is a growing and booming business, many merchants can't wait to hop on a bandwagon to, join in and earn more money from this. But as cyber fraud increases, it significantly hinders the growth of e-commerce businesses. Let's take a look at some worldwide fraud statistics. From 2017 to 2018 alone, there has been a 6% increase in cyber fraud attempts. And in 2018 alone, well over the holiday season, there has been a 13% increase in BOPIS fraud. BOPIS fraud, BOPIS short for Buy Online Pickup in Store, is an increasingly popular method adopted by merchants these days, because what happens is that consumers can make purchases within the comforts of their home before heading down to the nearest physical store to collect their product. And BOPIS fraud happens when fraudsters utilize stolen credit card to make purchases from their homes before collecting the product at the stores as well. And at this instance, it is important to note that the merchants have not done anything wrong, because when they receive the order, they merely fulfill the whole order altogether. But when the product is being reported as a chargeback, the merchant not only loses revenue, but the whole product as well. Last but not least, in 2018 alone, for merchants that spend on advertising on Facebook, Instagram, and whatsoever social media for their brand, 9% of the global amount spent on advertising has been gone to fraud, which constitutes to about $19 billion and is estimated to continue to increase to hit $44 billion by 2022. Now we have seen a worldwide statistics. What about APAC? By now, as we are speaking, 1 in 5 consumers in APAC have fallen prey to cyber fraud. More than 40% of consumers in APAC indicate that they are willing to give in their personal information, even if it means at their inconvenience, if it can help to improve cybersecurity. More than 70% of consumers today have indicated that cybersecurity is their top priority when they make purchases online. This is a very significant and important figure for merchants that are doing e-commerce businesses. And as cyber fraud continues to grow, close to 70% of merchants are also indicating that they are worried about fraud-related losses. And as cyber fraud grows, distrust between merchants and consumers can make both parties even more susceptible in the long run. So what are some things that you can do if you are looking to grow your business and you want to ride on the growing wave of e-commerce, yet you want to overcome the challenges of cyber fraud. Today, we will focus on three key strategies to a proper business growth, and then I will talk about how fraud can impact these key, and then what we can do to overcome these challenges. First of all, I'll be sharing about marketing. I'm very sure in today's digitalized world, a lot of e-commerce merchants spend on advertising their brand and product. So while spending a lot of resources and time on marketing, we often overlook on the risks that they carry. So we will talk about them in greater detail. Secondly, we will talk about automation. In today's world, automation processes are important because manual processes simply take too long to be effective on a large scale. Last but not least, customers are businesses' assets. We will also look into what are some potential fraud that can happen from customers, and also what you can do to grow your business. So let's start with marketing. Marketing is something that a lot of us, adopt nowadays with social media and things like that. So marketing covers a lot of grounds. We have SEO, email, programmatic advertising, loyalty programs, so on and so forth. But many growing businesses don't have the resources to cover all the bases, so they start with what brings them the best ROIs. And usually, this includes SEO, programmatic advertising, as well as social media. So what potential fraud can happen with advertising? Just a quick statistic. About 34% of the money that you spend on advertising can actually go on to fraud without you even realizing. And a lot of merchants actually fall prey to cyber fraud for advertising without even realizing that they have been a victim. Some cases of marketing fraud, we have promotional abuse, affiliate fraud, click fraud, impression fraud. Let us talk a little bit about one that is a bit more complicated and difficult, which is the affiliate fraud. Affiliate fraud happens from affiliate marketing, whereby merchants, they pay marketers who promote a particular brand or product in exchange for commission revenue for every successful sales conversion. Affiliate fraud happens when these marketers utilize illegal means such as fake traffic or fake data to trick you into believing that there has been more sales conversion and you're actually paying for something that is not. So what happens over here is that you not only lose money in terms of paying for affiliate marketing, you also lose money when you ship your product, and you also lose money when you get charged back for all these illegal transactions that are not even happening on your store. So with so much going on with advertising fraud, what can you do? Very simply, first of all, if you spend money on campaigns, always put in effort to look at your data, look at your report. Notice unusual spikes, because spikes can indicate that things are happening. For example, if you notice spikes at 2 a.m. for your customer base, which does not make sense, it might indicate that certain fraud activity is going on. Second of all, also look out for irregularities in data, because humans seldom repeat the same action over and over without variation. A repeated pattern might actually signify bots coming onto your website. So if you are alert and adaptive, you will actually notice irregularities and fraud even before they really consume all your money away. With so much about marketing, we move on to automation. E-commerce, to scale a business successfully, we have a lot of processes available. So if you want to scale your business, by adopting the proper automation processes early from the start can help you save a lot of labor costs, manual costs, time, and other resources in the long run. But what are some things that can happen with automation processes? As businesses grow and they start to adopt more automation processes, which some of you might have already been using, they fall prey to certain things that we can see here today. A few examples. If you spend money on automating reviews, which is what a lot of people do these days, right? The moment you finish a transaction or purchase something, they invite you to leave a review. And this is part of an automation process. But what can go wrong with automation, review, and the abuse is that, first of all, competitors may leverage on this to leave negative reviews on your website. Second of all, it might also invite angry customers to make use of this system to leave bad reviews for you. So what might actually be something that you want to encourage positively may turn out and work against you. Second of all, something with automation process that can go wrong is in terms of fulfillment of your orders. Some businesses today, they spend money on fulfilling automatically accepted orders. But what happens here is that when the system has already marked the order as cancelled, the order can still be fulfilled if it's not configured to accept cancelled orders. And this can cause a lot of damages to your company in terms of lost revenue from products. Last but not least, false decline. False decline happens when a merchant adopts too aggressive fraud prevention measures, such that you even reject real customer or healthy customers' orders altogether. And in this case, the losses that come from false decline can actually amount to way more money than fraud itself. Let's see what we can do to overcome some of these challenges. First of all, with every automation process, it's important to have proper checks and balances. It may sound very simple, but many initial stages of the company, when they first adopt automation processes, they fail to do the proper checks and balances to realize that what can potentially go wrong in the long run. So have proper checks for your automation business and automation processes can help you to make sure that any manual review that requires to step in is necessary. Second of all, always be flexible and updated and alert to any potential changes that you can adopt for your business processes, because you always want your automation process to keep up with your business. You don't want it to end up working against your entire business. And last but not least, stay up to date. In today's digitalized world, we have a lot of software that readily updates itself at an affordable price or even for free. So keep your technology updated, because as technology advances, you will want your software or automation process to progress with your business as well. Last but not least, we are coming to an end. The last part is your asset, which is your customers. In every business, customer is key, because customers not only like to spread reviews, their peers, the family members rely a lot on customer reviews as well. So especially in today's digitalized world, reviews tend to spread a lot more quickly, especially bad reviews. So you will want to make sure that your customers remain happy with your product, a good relationship with your customers, so as not to affect your brand reputation altogether. Now, what are some potential fraud threats that can happen with customers? A lot of merchants have the misconception that good customer service means how quickly they respond to a customer's problem. But a lot of them fail to realize that customer service also involves a lot on how the customer interacts with your brand. It can also mean that they can't find your product online. It can also mean that they fail to reach out. They are not able to get the support they need. Anything that relates with your brand can affect their perception of your brand altogether. Most importantly, if your customer has actually experienced any fraud relatable to your web store, it will deter them from coming to your website or even making a purchase. They may even share this fear with their friends or peers. Some fraud that can happen includes data hacks, account takeover, malware, and app fraud. And what are some of the things that we can do for our customers to keep them happy with our brand and our product? First of all, be proactive instead of reactive. At NSA, we have witnessed a lot of customers that only come to us the moment fraud strikes their website or when they face a downtime, by the time significant losses have already incurred. Fraud is not a new topic. It's not something new. No doubt it's increasing and morphing, but it's always important to keep ahead. Know what are some of the fraud threats that can happen that are more common. Learn to prevent them before it really strikes your business. Introduce a little friction. So this might sound a little bit counterintuitive, but actually consumers that make purchases online do appreciate if merchants take extra precautions or manual steps to verify their account to make sure that their account and data are being safeguarded. Last but not least, clear communication. Because customers would prefer you to, keep them updated or keep them educated about things they can do to increase their security or data privacy. Always teaching them things like setting stronger password for loyalty accounts, things and all, can actually help them improve their perception of your brand. So growing a business is never easy. It requires a lot of focus, strategy, and planning. But with proper knowledge, you will be able to overcome a lot of these challenges and work on with the e-commerce wave. So at NS8, we have the software that's called NS8 Protect. We actually provide a 30 days complimentary trial for users to understand what they are getting themselves into before deciding whether to subscribe to this product. The whole key idea is that fraud protection is very important, so we want to make sure that it tailors to every single business needs. It is comprehensive and it gives you constant protection 24 hours even when you're asleep or whatnot, and it gives you quick updates and insights. So if you are interested to find out more about our technological capabilities or what we can do for your business, feel free to approach me after this presentation. And with that, I appreciate your time. Do you guys have any questions for me today? No? Thank you.